Kim, thank you for joining us and welcome.
Sure. Thanks for having me. I'm super excited to talk to you guys tonight about one of my favorite subjects, which is why the heck do we need supplements? I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story just so you have some content before I jump into. I'm going to share a little presentation with you guys. And Autumn, if you guys want a copy of the presentation, because it's got some quotes and some facts about nutritional deficiencies that we're seeing today, I can definitely give that to you to post on your team page as well.
Oh, that would be awesome.
So, a little bit about me. I joined Plexus 2.5 years ago because I was grieving. I had lost 3 family members within 3 weeks of each other, right around Christmas time. And that was 2 years after losing my mom to ovarian cancer. So I was in a pretty low place. I was grieving, I was sad, I was really unmotivated. And I was a holistic health coach, so, I was a go-getter, and I knew what to do. I knew that if I drank my green juice and increased my dark leafy greens, I knew I would feel better. I knew that if I worked out more, my mood would improve. But to be honest, all I wanted to do was sit on the couch and shove my face with sugar. And that's when Plexus came along. My best friend, Andrea Mitchell, who is a Diamond Gold ambassador, was posting about Plexus on her Facebook page, and I was very skeptical. At the time, I was already spending a fortune on organic supplements. And so I just couldn't understand how this Plexus stuff could impact my health in a positive way. But I was also desperate to feel better. So I asked her to send me a list of all the ingredients. I scoured them over, and I finally put my skepticism aside and bought the Pink Drink, the ProBio 5, the BioCleanse, and the Accelerator. So those were the 4 products that I used to kind of kickstart my health. Even though I was a relatively healthy person, I had just gotten into a funk. And I had been a sugar addict my entire life. I was an overweight kid when I was younger. So, some of those old habits just kept creeping back because of the loss of so many family members. So, to my surprise, after a couple weeks on the Triplex plus the Accelerator, I started feeling awesome. My energy improved, my mood was better, and best of all, I did not want to eat any sugar. In fact, there was a plate of sweets in front of me, and I remember my husband coming home saying, "Why are these still here? They're in like your yard vicinity. They're like 2 feet in front of you and they're not all gone. What is going on?" And I'm like, "Yeah, just don't feel like eating the sugar." And he kind of felt my head to make sure I didn't have a temperature, wasn't sick. And I knew right then and there that these products were different, that they were special, and that the combination of ingredients in our products were different from even the more expensive organic supplements that I had been taking and spending a small fortune on. So I got really excited, and I decided to share with others. I shared with some health coach friends of mine. I shared with friends and family members. I actually had some clients that were health coaching clients of mine that were struggling with sugar addiction. So I was able to email them about Plexus, and my business grew very quickly. In about 1.5 years, I made it to Emerald. And really the reason I've stayed with Plexus is because of the opportunity, right? I fell in love with the products. But then the opportunity came along and just blew me away. I was able to retire from a 15-year career in advertising sales. I owned my own company. I was making over 6 figures, not to boast or brag, but just to let you know that I had a lot of success in this industry, but I had fallen out of love with it. I didn't want to be in advertising sales. I wanted to be in health and wellness full time, but my health coaching income wasn't enough to replace my advertising sales. So along comes Plexus. I start sharing my passion for these products. I get to Emerald, and there comes the day where I get to resign and tell my publishers that I'm going into health and wellness full time. And it was a dream come true. The thing I love most about this business is the freedom, right? You work so hard. Maybe you're working part-time right now. That's what I did when I first started. And you work part-time and you work really hard so that you get to Emerald and you have all of these options. You know, you can maybe retire from your job and work from home and just really design your own schedule, which I love. So now I get to go to my hot yoga when I want to. I get to schedule my calls with my team when I want to. And it's really, really amazing. I'm not on anyone else's schedule. So that's my Plexus story. It turned my health around. Even though I am a super healthy person and a health coach, I needed help. And I have to tell you that a lot of health coaches are not perfect. The reason we become health coaches is because we're seeking answers to our own personal issues as it relates to our health. So don't fear ever talking to a health coach about Plexus or really any health professional, because quite frankly, the reason they're probably in that profession is because they've been through a roller coaster ride or their own journey of poor health that led them to get into that particular career or industry. And feel free to share my video because I talk about why I chose Plexus as my product partner. Before I jump into supplementation, I did want to touch on personal development really quickly. It's really been the number one reason why I have survived 2.5 years in network marketing, right? It's tough getting rejected each and every day. And I feel like the no's are better than the no responses. Anyone feel that way? It's like the crickets and you don't get any response are actually worse than getting a no. And I actually get no responses versus no's more. But you have to have a sense of confidence about what you're doing, and you have to have a resilience and a persistence inside of you. And that comes with personal development. So not my number one tip to getting to Emerald, if that happens to be your goal, and we want to see you there because Autumn and I had so much fun this year, is really to work personal development into your daily activities. So I like to listen when I'm on the road, like when I'm in my car going to yoga. I'll listen to Darren Hardy. He's one of my favorites. The first network marketing personal development book I ever read was called The Compound Effect, and that was by Darren Hardy. Darren Hardy's mentor is Jim Rohn, R-O-H-N, and he's actually not alive anymore, but he was really sort of the grandfather of personal development, and he's hysterical. So anything by Jim Rohn, any audio, download it, put it on your phone, listen to it as you are driving, and it's amazing. We need our tanks to be filled, right? We go out on our day and we talk to people about Plexus. They tell us no, they don't reply to us, and our tank just goes down and down and down. So personal development is the way to fill up that tank, to stay motivated, to stay encouraged. You have a great leader in Autumn, and she's a wonderful way to get your encouragement and motivation. But it's also great to have something in your ears constantly going over and over again so that you remember that this business can take a toll. But if you stay confident, if you stay positive, if you stay enthusiastic, if people can feel your passion, you are going to be successful. So hopefully that is helpful for you guys. I'm going to jump into my presentation on why I believe that supplementation is so important. And I'm going to start out with a quote from one of my mentors. His name is Dr. Mark Hyman. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of him, but he was one of my instructors at nutrition school. I went to the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. They're based in New York City. And Dr. Mark Hyman is a functional medicine doctor, and he's super smart. He's written a lot of books. Be sure to check him out if you haven't read anything from him. But he says, in a perfect world, no one would need supplements. But given the stress of our modern life, the poor quality of our food supply, the high load of toxins on our brains and bodies, most of us need a basic daily supply of the raw materials for all of our enzymes and biochemistry to run as designed. Really, the reason why Plexus is so successful is because our products contain ingredients that our bodies are deficient in or that they desperately need as a result of our very stressed out and overscheduled lives and our crappy diets, right? Let's be honest with ourselves. So before I became a health coach, I had a terrible diet. So pretty much like the first 29 years of my life, I abused sugar and artificial sweeteners and Diet Coke. So the wonderful thing about our body is that it will heal. If given half a chance, it will heal. And after 29 years of abusing it, I can say that I've turned my health around through good nutrition, stress management, and supplements. And Plexus is such a huge part of that. But just remember that most people have such great success with our products because of the fact that we are so nutrient deprived. So, let's talk about our food supply. It is not as good as it used to be, unfortunately. I think that 30, 40, 50 years ago, we didn't have the issues with our food supply that we do now. And so much of our food supply is enriched, right? It's so processed that it's really impoverished to start with. So even with all the enriched foods where they add in the vitamins and all the stuff that they market to us to make us buy their products, over 92% of Americans are deficient in one or more vitamin. So that doesn't mean that they are receiving less than the amount they need for optimal health. That means they receive less than the minimum amount necessary to prevent deficiency diseases. So there is a report in the Journal of Pediatrics that found it's interesting that obesity and malnutrition coexist. And you wouldn't think that that is the case, but it is. We're obese and we're overfed, but we've got undernourished children with cognitive disorders who are also found to have scurvy and severe vitamin D deficiency. So we've got this population of kids and adults that are walking around that are overweight and overfed, but undernourished from a vitamin mineral perspective. A USDA study showed that 37% of Americans don't get enough vitamin C, 70% don't get enough vitamin E, 75% don't get enough zinc, 40% don't get enough iron. I could go on and on and on. It's the same with magnesium. It's the same with chromium. So it's not really uncommon for most of the population, even if they're healthy, right? We've got these people that think they're healthy from head to toe because they do X, Y, and Z because they work out. But typically it's not the case. If we took some tests, we'd find out on the inside that they're not as healthy as they believe to be. So my mentor, Dr. Hyman, believes that 100% of us don't have enough of the basic nutrients to create optimal health. The foods we eat no longer contain those nutrient levels that we require for optimal health. So we've got crops that are raised in soil where nutrients have been depleted. We've got plants that are treated with pesticides and other chemicals. And that further diminishes their nutrient levels and their phytonutrient content. So the fact is, our food is just not as good as it used to be. And the reason is all about money. It's cheaper to spray all of our food with pesticides and toxins so that it lasts longer. But unfortunately, the downward effect of that is that we're all getting sick because our food is full of chemicals and our body just can't handle the amount of toxins and chemicals that are being thrown at us. I always say this on my 21-day clean eating and workout challenge webinar, that it's not your fault, but it is your problem. So it's not your fault, because let me tell you, there are 600,000 processed foods in the grocery store that have added sugar, right? So it is so hard to find food without sugar in it. So it's not your fault, I promise you. I'm sure that you try, but we are surrounded by all of this food that is full of chemicals and full of sugar that is depleting our health. Unfortunately, we have to deal with it, right? It affects our health. It affects our children's health. So it is our problem. And all it takes is a little bit of education and knowledge, sprinkle in a little bit of plexus, improve your diet, and things can turn around really quickly. So in addition to all of that, to complicate this further, all of us have been exposed to hazardous toxins and chemicals that poison our bodies. We live with too much stress. Raise your hand if you have stress in your life. That's me. We don't sleep enough, right? How many people do you know that get on our products and sleep so much better? It's a horrible, horrible epidemic of lack of sleep in this country. Most of us aren't exercising enough. That's not my issue, but I know a lot of people struggle to feel motivated to get up out of bed before they go to work. And we're so inflamed, right? We're so inflamed. There's so much inflammation happening in our bodies as a result of stress, as a result of toxins, as a result of not sleeping very well. So those with chronic illnesses are even in worse shape. So that's really the overview. When I talk to people about supplementation, and I get some pushback from healthy people, let's say people in the health and wellness industry, what I typically tell them is, one of two things. One, well, are your friends and family as healthy as you are, right? So you can always play the helping card, right? Who can you help around you that isn't as healthy as you? Who could these supplements benefit? And then I also try to get people to understand that just because they're eating right and just because they're working out, that does not mean that they're healthy. And most healthy people will admit that they struggle with something, right? Perhaps they're not sleeping well, perhaps they're addicted to sugar. So I live in Boulder, Colorado. And I got to tell you, Boulder is like the epicenter of elite athletes. People come here from around the world to train because of the high elevation. And of course, it's beautiful. Who wouldn't want to train here? But what I find with a lot of athletes is because they expend so many calories training, they feel like they can eat whatever they want. They feel like they get this free card, to like go and just eat as much food as they possibly want. And what I believe is that we've really been duped about how to stay healthy. So most of what we've learned is, okay, if I decrease my calories, if I increase my exercise, and if I weigh myself, boom, I'm healthy. No, because if that were the case, we'd all be thin and happy. But we've learned that that is not the case because we are in an obesity epidemic. So what I always tell people is just because you work out does not mean that you get a free card to eat whatever you want. It's about the quality of what you put in your body. It's not about the quantity. So if you happen to be calorie counting, stop it. If you're eating real food, if you're eating food without toxins and chemicals, you really don't need to count any calories. And how freeing is that, right? It's freedom to be able to not have to count calories all day and measure all of your food. So I love supplementation because it's a tool, right? We've got diet, we've got exercise, we've got supplementation. It's a tool and our healthy lifestyle toolbox, but it's also really, really important to manage your stress. It's also really important to improve your relationships and make sure that your career is happy. So many people hate their jobs, and that causes so much stress. And so when you improve your diet, when you add in supplements, all of those things help decrease that stress and can help with stress management. So I would love to connect with you. I am on YouTube as Kimberly Wilson Pollock. My website is kimwilsonpollock.com. My Instagram is Kim Wilson Pollock. I'd love to hear from you. I'm also around autumn if you want to open it up for some questions. I can take some questions as well. I have a YouTube video dedicated to why supplementation. So if you feel like you've come across a prospect, a friend, a family member that is really pushing back like, we don't need supplementation, feel free to find that video on my YouTube channel and just share it with them and say, you know what, my friend, we're friends now. We've been on this call, so we're buddies. You can say my friend and buddy, holistic health coach Kim Wilson Pollock, think supplementation is really important. Here is her perspective. I'd love to know what you think. Always ask people what they think because they'll watch it just so they can give their opinion, because they want to debate it. And people love to share what they're thinking. So use that as a tool if you come across some folks. And I don't know, Autumn, if your team is out on the West Coast, but I imagine if they are, probably some California folks are like here in Colorado, where they pretty much think they know everything there is about health and wellness, and they think that they're doing everything right. And I'm in a networking group that I meet with every week here in Boulder, and I had most of the people were like, oh, I'm healthy. I don't need your 21-day clean eating program. I don't need your supplements. But of course, the more we got to know each other and the more they started hearing what I was saying, they're like, well, yeah, I am addicted to coffee. Don't take away my coffee. Yeah, I am addicted to my sugar. Don't take away my sugar. So once they got on the challenge, a lot of them admitted, yeah, I wasn't as healthy as I thought I was. And wow, what a difference these supplements made. So you'll be surprised if you just keep on people and be persistent. Don't be pushy, don't be aggressive, don't be a hunter. But if you continue to talk about your message on Facebook or send them videos from me or other health and wellness experts, we've got a ton of people in Plexus that have amazing videos. That will help to kind of get them comfortable and get them going. So never give up and never take someone's resistance as a no, but just an opportunity to keep building that relationship and feel confident. We need supplements. It is critical. We are in the worst health crisis the world has ever faced. People are dying from cancer left and right. People are dealing with heart disease and Alzheimer's and obesity like never before. We have a tool that helps with the solution. And it's, Plexus isn't the solution. There's a lot of things that people need to be doing, but it's an important part of the solution. And so when you guys go out into the world and talk about Plexus, feel confident about that. Don't be bashful, be bold, because we have something really unique and special. We're very, very different from other supplement companies out there. Most supplement companies, their ingredients are full of crap. They're full of artificial sweeteners. They're full of genetically modified ingredients. They're full of caffeine, right? And although we have some products that have caffeine, we have mostly products that don't have caffeine. So, and of course, our caffeine is so much better in terms of the quality and the source because it's plant-based versus other companies. So when somebody asks you about another supplement company, don't feel like you have to know everything there is to know. You can say, you know what, I'm not sure about them, but here's what I can tell you about how we're different. You know, we don't use artificial sweeteners. We don't have chemicals. We don't, all of our stuff is non-GMO. It's gluten-free, mostly plant-based. So it's really unique what we have going on in Plexus, and I've studied a lot of other supplement companies, and we're affordable. Let me tell you, I just spoke to somebody that spent thousands of dollars getting into this supplement network marketing company. I was like, whoa. So we're affordable, and we have products that help people stabilize their blood sugar, improve their gut health, and those two things in turn reduce inflammation. And inflammation is the cause of all major disease. That is scientifically researched. So feel good about that. We can't say it publicly because that's not compliant, but I will say that our products are so very different. So just feel confident about our company and our products, and be bold when you're sharing with people.
Oh, this has been amazing. Amazing. And I know people have questions, I'm sure. You know, this is really, I love this because I love health like you do. And I mean, this really boils it down to like really the foundation, you know, of it all, and the power behind what we have to be able to change people's lives and health. So I know some of you have questions. Stella's not on anymore, darn it. Anybody have a question for Kim? I know somebody does, so somebody asks something.
Don't be shy.
Autumn, it's me, Holly. I got on late because I was picking up McKenna from soccer. So what did you guys discuss in the very beginning? Or do you have like slides or anything you could share with me later?
Yeah, I talked about my story, Holly, just my Plexus story. This is Kim Wilson Pollock, and just my journey with overcoming sugar addiction and you know, really losing family members. But yes, I do have slides, and I told Autumn that I will send those to her so she can post them on the team page.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anybody else? Kina?
Yeah, I have. Oh, go ahead, Akina.
Go for it.
I was just going to ask real quick. Sorry, Akina, I cut you off again. If there's anything specific when you've got someone who has, you touched on this a little bit, but has the like, well, yeah, but I already take supplements. I get it. I understand I need them. And I found this, you know, great probiotic at this other place. Like short of going through like ingredient by ingredient, is there something specific or like a specific video that you like to show them? Or is there something specific you kind of helps you show that Plexus is really different than the stuff that you're going to buy at the regular grocery store?
Yeah, I think it's tough, right? Because if somebody has their mindset set, then sometimes it just takes time. But my favorite thing to ask those people is, how's that working for you? You know, and really put it in their court, like, because most people can't tell a difference, right? So I always ask people, and how's that going for you? How's that working for you? Are you feeling different? And most people are like, well, I mean, not really, but you don't have to feel different when you're on a probiotic. I'm like, oh, well, man, when I first took my probiotic, you know, blah, 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 you know, and you kind of go in your story. So I always love, anytime you get an objection, it's best to counter with a question, right? Put it back on them and make them understand and figure out that they're not seeing the whole picture. Because when they can figure it out themselves versus you pointing it out, they're going to be so much more open to receiving that information.
Yeah. Okay. That makes a lot of sense. One other quick question I had for you. I've had a few people say like, oh yeah, I'm really interested. I'd love to get started, but I've got a lot of stomach issues and I'm just trying to get those figured out before I start anything new. Like my doctor's got me doing this new diet and I want to just get myself feeling better before I start a new product. Of course, the whole time I'm thinking, well, duh, like this is what will help your stomach issues. This is what's going to help you feel better. But do you have anything specifically that you would say to people who kind of have that, like, well, I want to try something else first because I'm not really sure and I want to get feeling better before I jump into something new?
Yeah. I would probably say to them, yep, totally get that, totally understand. You might want to consider showing your doctor some of the ingredients in Plexus, because we have a lot of people that have, gotten over their IBS or don't have any stomach issues anymore because of the use of Plexus. And perhaps if you showed the ingredients to your doctor, he would kind of approve them and you wouldn't have to go down X, Y, or Z path, especially if that path is expensive. Because what I find is a lot of people that are starting this new program or doing this or that, they're spending a boatload of money. So another thing that you could ask them is, what are you investing? Because I would like to save you some money. And that might get them to be like, ooh, what? You're going to save me some money? Because literally when I went to see a naturopathic doctor when my mom was first diagnosed, we were spending like $600 on supplements. It was insane. And a lot of chiropractors that have supplement lines use the same, they're called standard process supplements. And so I would just say, ask them, oh, that sounds like an investment. I'd love to be able to save you some money. Why not, show your doctor some of the Plexus options? I know a lot of my friends and family members have been able to get over their IBS or help their stomach issues with using these products and also save a lot of money in the process.
Yeah, and my friend that is a nutritionalist, she's like all about standard process. And so years ago when I went to go see her, I was on those and they did absolutely nothing.
Zero.
Nothing. I was so shocked when I got on Plexus. I'm like, wow, I actually feel a difference. My health ailments were gone and all that. So yeah, I hear you.
I could add to that. I was also on standard process and it did nothing.
Yeah. All right, anybody else?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Can you repeat the two people that you mentioned as resources? What were their names and the book, I think you mentioned?
So Dr. Mark Hyman, Hyman. He's a functional medicine doctor, and his book is called The Blood Sugar Solution. That was his first book. And then his second book is The 10-Day Detox Diet, which is excellent as well. It's what I base my detox program is off of his sort of structure. I have a little bit of couple differences, but yeah, those are his two books. And then the personal development guys, which you might have been referring to anyway, not Dr. Hyman. Sorry about that. I was like, oh yeah. Darren Hardy, Hardy. And his book is The Compound Effect. And then sort of the grandfather of personal development is Jim Rohn, Rohn. And I really don't read, I don't even know if Jim has any books. He probably does, but I listen to his audio because he's hysterical. If you guys went to convention, he's like the male version of Rita Davenport, but less slapstick comedy and just more quirky, funny. Oh my gosh, he's so great. So if you just Google any of his audios, a lot of them are I get through audibles.com, which is Amazon. They're great. They're really great.
Awesome. Who else has a question? Anybody else? Last call. All right. Well, guys, if you tuned in late, I know some people already had to hop off, but if you tuned in late, make sure to go back and watch the beginning of this, because Kim had a lot of great things to say, lots of wisdom, even regarding the business and all that, and books to read, like she just mentioned. This has been so needed, Kim. This is such an important area and topic to explore, especially with us being, little mini health reps, if you will, so it's definitely something that we needed to hear about. So I cannot thank you enough. Oh, wait, somebody has a question. Yes. Oh, Nikki. Hello. All right. I guess not. Maybe it was accident. Anyway, thank you so much.
Hello.
Oh, Nikki, there?
This is Nancy and Nikki.
Nancy, go for it.
Sorry. We're technically challenged. Yeah. Completely. Two here trying to figure it out, and it's a challenge. I have a question on some of the products. I believe the Slim is vegan, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And what about the the probiotic? Is that vegan, or is the capsule like the gelatin where it's not vegan?
I think the ProBio is vegetarian. I don't think that it's vegan.
Okay. And then on the BioCleanse, do you know if that's vegan or not?
I think.
Which one?
I think BioCleanse is vegetarian too. I don't know if it can be classified as vegan because of the capsule.
Yeah, that's it's always the capsule. That's the challenge.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I say plant-based. I mean, obviously, if you've got some vegans, then of course they're going to be a little bit crazy.
My daughter's vegan. That's why I was asking.
Well,
and
I
she's
used to
not
be vegan, so I know, because I used to be crazy about everything. And not that vegans are crazy. That is not what I meant. But
yeah, my daughter's crazy. It's okay.
Question.
Particular would probably be a better way to say it. I was very particular when I was vegan.
Can you just encourage people to take it out of the capsule and eat it like sprinkled on food or something?
Yeah, you absolutely can do that. In fact, my mom, during her second cancer diagnosis, she couldn't swallow pills. So we just took everything out and just put it in our smoothies. So that is a great option. It's also a great option for kids too.
Okay. And then on the probiotic, like you as a nutritionalist, what the amount that they have as for the probiotic, is that mainly a pretty good amount to have? Because you know how some companies will make a claim of like, oh, we have, all of these, high amounts, and then you have these other companies that will have a lower amount. So is the Plexus one like more of an ideal average amount?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's a perfect amount. There definitely are a lot of probiotics that have a lot more CIUs. But
what are CIUs?
It's like the measurement of the amount of good bacteria in a probiotic. So, I think the focus needs to be on the fact that our probiotic isn't just good bacteria. It has digestive enzymes. It has bioflavonoids that actually surround the yeast and the candida, and they eat away at the outer casing of those nasty critters that sit in our gut. And then those bioflavonoids, those antioxidants, get through and kill those bad bacteria, the candida, the fungus. So it's actually an antifungal in addition to a probiotic. It's a digestive enzyme. So it has a lot more hats. Ours is kind of a multitasking probiotic, where the majority of probiotics in the marketplace, they're just filling your gut with good bacteria, which is great. But our probiotic goes, one step further, 2 steps further, 3 steps further than the normal. So that's what I tell people when they want to kind of get into the nitty gritty of, well, gosh, my probiotic has more good bacteria than yours. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. But is your probiotic an antifungal? Does your probiotic get rid of candida and fungus? Probably not.
Okay.
In fact, I've even told people like, hey, if you're that gung-ho about you need a bigger dosage, then go supplement with extra, but you're not going to get what we have in our probiotic. Like, you're just not. So you have to take ours to be able to get all those benefits.
Yeah. Well, because I know that like my daughter has taken, I mean, because she's had candida. And of course, you know, she's watching to make sure that she's not getting imbalanced again. So she, you know, has been on digestive enzymes as well as the probiotics, as well as, you know, all the other things as you're trying to figure it all out. So that's kind of good to know about the probiotic being an all-in-one thing. And I just think it's probably the consistency and the diligence of it too. That makes all the difference.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
All right, Kim, well, thank you so much for taking time out of your evening to share with us and educate us on all of this. It's been amazing. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Thanks for having me, and have a great night, you guys.
All right, you too. Bye, everyone.
Night. Night.
Bye.